start, and I do believe we have gone live.
I think it's already on.
Is it on?
Yeah.
All right, we're on. Okay, let me adjust. There we go.
What did you do your hair?
I rolled it.
Oh,
How
rolled
does
it?
look?
It's very beautiful.
I dress up for the audience.
Oh, me too. Got a nice t-shirt. White
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Inside Times. This is Cynthia White, training coordinator of Kids Are to Hawaii.
And Hiro, I'm the program director and then also a co-founder of this organization.
That's right.
Almost 20 years
Next
year, you know.
We've been doing this.
Yeah,
work.
19 years
Yeah.
and yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing work.
Like a ride in a wave. Playing ukulele.
It's like the child once told you that he wanted to grow up and do what you did.
Yeah.
And somebody said, well, what does he do? And they're like, he plays ukulele and
Go surfing.
No, and plays or something.
No. Play with the kids
And play with kids.
Play ukulele. That's my job.
That's his job. I remember, 20 years ago when we were just starting Kids Hurt Too, you know, and meeting with local community providers and people who had children, grieving children in their families.
Chickling.
And yes.
And Wheels.
Well, you don't, Anyway, all those
Right.
people. And and to, talk about what does Hawaii need, what's available, where are the pukas, how can we contribute? And so the Kids Hurt Too Hawaii program is what came out of those conversations. And since that time, we started with education because that was the number one priority. And then we started groups and borrowed space for 8 years. We borrowed space in Kaneohe at Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center. We borrowed space at Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center in Nanakuli.
Yeah,
we borrowed space at churches. We borrowed space at Easter Seals. And the office was in our home, and we stored all the toys in our home. And then in 2009, we moved into the Kukui Center. And,
That's a Lehman shock. That's a Lehman shock after or during Lehman shock.
What?
Lehman shock, just a kind of depression kind of things happened in 2008.
And what are you calling it?
Lehman shock? Is that, yeah, it is.
That's not a word, is it?
It is.
How do you spell that word?
I don't know. Is that
recession?
No. It's called Lehman shock. Something like that.
What?
Yeah. I don't know why you don't know. It's humongous.
Maybe if you pronounced it different.
No. You'll know. You just don't remember. It's just a big, people lost a lot of money and people lost, the stock market went down so hugely and, that was 2008. And the Queen, it's a lot of things happened back in the time.
What did you call it?
Lehman shock? Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
I don't know why you don't know.
I don't know why I don't know either. I thought that, we had, it was a bad time to be having to pay rent for our program, but somehow we survived and we're still here. And now here we are in a...
What?
What are we in now?
What?
Pandemic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have a pandemic.
I thought you might say it in a funny way, like you said the other.
Pandemic.
I don't know what that was.
No idea.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, you should. You should.
I should look that up.
I couldn't believe you don't know.
I don't know everything. Surprising, I know. But...
Oh my goodness, we're like Olelo. I'm black and you're white. You can play Olelo game.
Olelo? What? You talking about Oreos?
No. Osero game.
Othello. Yes. And here we are,
So
still
we can surf in Hawaii.
20
so.
years later,
Yep.
still communication challenged.
Do you? I don't have any communication.
You know what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta listen carefully.
I try.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so today what we gonna talk about?
Well, we've come a long way
Mm-hmm.
over these years. We started out
Mm-hmm.
with a dream to have a house
Yeah.
where we could provide services in a
Mm-hmm.
home-like environment.
Right. That's our vision.
That was our vision.
Yeah.
And
Always.
we, of course, in Hawaii, that's harder to do than we realized at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we were happy to have the Kukui Center become available because the rent there is very reasonable, and it made it affordable. And I didn't know how children were going to respond to coming to a program and in a building like that. And I was a little concerned, but they loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And also we had groups as far away as Nanakuli and Wahiwa, Kaneohe, and we kind of consolidated everything into the Honolulu office, and we really didn't know if people would come.
Right.
We were worried. I was worried. I was concerned, will people come? And they did. They came all the way from Makaha, from Ka'u, from Mililani. I mean, people came from all over the island because I think people really care about their children, and they'll go anywhere and do anything to get their children the help they need, the support they need.
Right.
So.
Sorry, I just have to, share that inside time.
Yes, thank you for sharing. And there's Yuki. Hi. Kato-san.
Yuki Kato-san.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, how's it? Thank you.
So thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
So here we are, almost 20 years later, and now we're in a pandemic.
Right.
And what has Kids Hurt 2 been able to do in this pandemic? Can't get kids together, can't do groups. So what are we doing?
The beginning, we got before first lockdown, and we are doing a group.
Order.
No,
Lockdown
first we trying
terrible.
to figure out
Stay at home
how we
order.
gonna, how we gonna
in March, back in March.
support, do the groups and events, and then a lockdown came in.
Not lockdown. Don't say that. That's so scary sounding. Stay at home order.
Oh, stay at home. Yeah. So then we come up with online.
We're very fortunate because our new ED started in March, bless her heart,
Tanya.
difficult time for her to begin as an ED of a nonprofit, and then ended up, 2 weeks into the job and have to go to working online, working from home, stay at home order. But she is very technologically savvy. She really inspired us and pushed us to get online and do work online. I mean, she had to push me pretty hard because I'm kind of shy and I don't, like to necessarily be online. I do have a Facebook page, but I rarely use it. And I just actually started it last year in August, so it's, I just don't do much with it. And so I haven't been in the, the technological world.
I'm not that much.
And,
I don't.
You've come and gone in that area. But she was really inspired and inspirational to get us to
TJ,
start
he's very
doing.
tech savvy.
We had great staff, who had skills and who could really help us move forward in this pandemic. And since then, we've been able to provide online education, which is what Inside Times is all about, is providing you with education in grief and trauma, providing you with information, just reaching out and staying connected. Also, we have activities with Hero. So you get to inspire kids to be more creative and be more active. And we have storytelling with TJ, and then Tanya does imagination yoga. And so we have a lot of programming going on Facebook right now, live live post. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you were exposed to some smoke, from the
Oh yeah,
fire
right,
that
right.
that was happening
Yeah,
in Wailua, and
yeah,
then you've been doing a lot of gardening, and so as a
Right.
result of that, you've been inhaling probably a lot of dust because
Yeah.
we haven't had much rain, so it's pretty
we had
dusty.
a rain today,
A little bit
this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
But anyway, other
Yeah.
day I talked to the Yuki Kaibara-san, from the Setagaya, grid support of
Yeah.
Setagaya. Then they, she bought bunch of high-rising, the T-shirts and goods, from because we closed the high-rising store for now, and then I ended up, talking on the messengers and shared what we've been doing and so they did they're like what are you guys doing and keeps it to us. So I just shared we do because we don't talk about online groups,
Yeah.
right, in a sense.
We don't in our
Yeah.
live Facebooks, but
Right.
today we're going to talk about
Yeah,
that because that's how we've continued to stay
Right.
connected with the children and families that we serve,
right,
as through online
Right.
programming,
So-
online support groups,
Right.
basically different than
Right.
in-person groups naturally.
yeah, we are doing a support group,
Mhm.
different, little bit different numbers, a little bit smaller. So beginning, I think after the stay-home order, we started doing try the online group,
Mhm.
and some children, participated,
Yeah.
wanted to participate, and some children, teens group is so strong. We just keep
Teens
doing
seem
teens
to
groups.
very much
Right.
respond
Yeah.
to and appreciate that
Right.
interaction and
Yeah, we have actually once or 2 weeks. We've been doing groups since March, teens group, and then
teens group. But
yeah,
basically, you're doing groups every single week,
yeah,
two or
two,
three
3 times a
a
week.
week.
Yeah, so we have a group tonight, general loss group online. I think 6 or 7, 8 children sign up, and tomorrow the teens group, general deaf teens online group.
And parents at the same time.
Tomorrow we're gonna do parents group. You've
I'll
been
do
doing the parents
while
group.
you're doing the teens.
Yeah, teens.
So
And then
I had to have 2 computers in
Right,
this house and
right.
in their house, right? Or somebody's on their phone, or
right,
somebody's on a computer.
right,
and
right. So I'll just using Google Meet, and then I name the name of the group every week, every time we do group, and even on the top of the group, we started ukulele practice. That was a pretty
online.
challenging. Yeah, because beginners,
Yeah.
it's just hard. So I'm not. I play ukulele, but I'm a teacher.
But you were trained to be
I
a
was
teacher,
trained.
but that
Yeah,
was
that's
a while.
right.
That was a
long
while
time ago with
yeah.
ukulele and from the uncle, and so the group. It's just like we do. One time we tried to do group from Monday through Thursday, 3 to 4. It's a shorter time. So we do 30 minutes pre-meeting with the facilitator, and then about 1 hour group with the children. So
you have to kind of keep the groups
yeah, keep
a little
it a little bit
shorter.
shorter.
They were an hour and a half. Now they're an hour online, and
Yeah.
you still do a pre-meeting and a
Yeah,
post-meeting with the
Yeah, we do.
volunteers
Yep.
who are also participating in the online groups and helping to facilitate those groups.
Right. So basically, opening circle, then same thing for tonight group, general loss group, general loss. Yeah. So general loss is children who separated from one of those parents, family members of death, and also divorce, incarceration, foster kids. So any kind of loss can come to the this group. And tomorrow night group is a teens general death group. So that's teenagers who separated from one of those parents or family member through death. So
now let's talk a little bit about what has been beneficial in terms of doing the groups online. What have you found that's been useful?
Well, they just can connect with other teens other
Not just
children,
teens, yeah, other
yeah,
children.
other
Okay,
children,
right.
and other adults. Numbers are smaller, actually, but those who participate, the group, kind of, like, oh, I still can. I mean,
Yeah.
I hear the positive feedback,
Mm-hmm.
but also I got the feedback from my kids, and it's different, so that is okay. That is okay.
Close that
No,
window. It's
that's all
the male person.
yeah. So that's a connect with other families.
So what's been beneficial is that it's allowed them to stay connected to each
Mhm.
other
Right.
because they already were in the same group before this.
Yeah, and then
and
normalize,
yeah.
and what is been difficult about
Being stay-at-home
stay
order
home
and dealing with the pandemic.
Yes.
So that's something I've talked about with
mhm.
probably the older ones, or has the young children talked about that too?
Yeah, young children kind of bouncing off, and there's difficult things too.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the benefits, and we'll talk
Right.
about the difficulties. And one of the things I've noticed that you have done to make those groups successful in terms of getting as much participation as possible is you call families, you email them,
I email.
and then you call them again.
Yeah.
And then sometimes even at the beginning of group, or if they're not there, you call them and say it's time for group, because sometimes they forget, right? They get busy.
I thought it was gonna be much more participants, but actually they're busy. I don't know. I get that.
Yeah, kids are having to
Right.
take their classes at home, and so parents are working from home, and so there's a lot going on within the home, and they get distracted.
Yeah, and then also when I get like that my child doesn't wanna wait up until in person group, then I just leave it to them, and so I just email, group night. I email people who the family who told me want to participate. Children want to participate. I call them, but people who don't, I just call every once in a while, but not in-person group, because I know some family told me my children doesn't wanna, my kid not interested in online group, then I don't call, because I was told that way.
Right.
So if they change mind, then if they let me, but I email everybody, So.
And the nice thing about Google Meets is that it's HIPAA compliant, which is something we were wanting to maintain, that confidentiality and privacy, and so Zoom was not HIPAA compliant, so we couldn't use Zoom, and it's also free to use Google Meets right
free
now.
at this moment.
If you do more than how many? What is the number? I think before you could only do 10 or less.
Now we can
and
do
now you can do up
100.
to 100 for
Yeah.
free. But if you
I
did
think we're
more
gonna
than
change
10,
it pretty soon
it
at the
would
end of
be-
this month.
they would charge you if you did
Right,
more. But
something.
maybe
Yeah.
they'll.
And the confidentiality is
nice.
a little bit difficult, because sometimes a house is, and there's a, parents and a mom and aunties and uncles there. So sometimes, I cannot just ask them, can you just move out from the room, because they cannot,
Yeah,
because
they
of the
can't.
space wise.
So you can't really. The children can't really, or the teens, talk in depth. In the way that they would in the group, even though we don't make them talk.
Teens
But,
group is always like that. We can just keep it that way.
Yeah.
Teens, because they ask
They
them
will be
to,
separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
But children, sometimes the little guys, and you just.
Yeah, and I find the parents are also very supportive of each other, very open, very happy to reconnect and to be able to get support, and they need it. They really have expressed a need for that support, because this is a tough time for everybody. Another thing I've noticed that you've done that's made the online groups successful
I don't
is
know, it's
that you
successful.
will, it's ever they're
Number is
different.
much lower, so.
You have fewer kids, that's true, participating, but you've also made it fun. You all play some very interesting games. when you're
gimme,
working with the
gimme,
children.
you know, Simon Says, and, you know,
Yeah.
there's charades are my favorite.
Yeah, that's a funny one. Yeah.
Oh, I think about so much difficult charades. I should supposed to be easy and fun,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but you make it difficult on purpose.
Right.
Okay. So that's,
Yeah.
you know, so that's difficult playing games in an online
Yeah.
group, but you've managed to, and I think TJ kind of led with that,
Yeah.
didn't he? He kind of started that out by saying, let's play some games, or do you want to play some games?
Yeah,
And-
tech savvy, and which I
Yeah.
have no idea. And also, they can, you know, some families or children can bring their pet, cat, and the dogs,
Yeah.
and you know their favorite toys, and
Yeah, we can see things
Yeah.
that they couldn't bring to
Right.
group,
And then
they can share with
Yeah.
each other on the
general
online.
desk group. We can do like a memorabilia day, so they can get a picture of the person who died, and they can share, you know. And oh, this one used to belong to my dad, my mom.
So you have done that as well.
Going to
Going
tomorrow.
to do that
Yeah,
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. On the teens
Yeah.
group?
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just but I think I can see, you know, the children's group needs a lot of movement, you know, but
Yeah.
well, we try.
And they do.
Mhm.
I mean, I think one thing you found was, and I guess this would be a con, if we do pros and cons, the con would be that the younger children, like under 5, couldn't really focus enough and to participate. And I mean, they were literally climbing the walls.
Right. I see. Stop a minute. It doesn't work. They keep doing.
All the rules don't work, you
Yeah.
know, and yeah. But you do go over the rules at the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah, I do. I do the
and
same thing.
So we still practice the same safety
Yeah.
protocols
We
that
have
we practiced.
we had to add a one rule.
In-person group. We had to add a rule. What
One
rule
rule.
did you add?
That's a do not mute anybody. Children cannot mute other children or facilitator, because one group was completely because one of the, you know, kid just keep muting everybody, including me. And then, so, and then we couldn't do anything. And we just like
So
out of control.
They're starting to get used to how it works, huh?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
using it for fun.
So even I say stop and me already muted. So you know, so one night we are completely out of control. It was fun, you know. The kids needed just being out of control. They just showed us, you know, how out of control
Life
in
is.
their life is.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Right.
yeah, a lot of lives
Mhm.
were having difficulty with being in control and staying safe
Right.
and yeah.
Right. So I asked, you know, I asked facilitators and kids and any idea, anything they want to do.
Mhm.
So we came up with like a event wise online kids to spelling bees, poetry slams, and of course ukulele, you know, like music assembly, and you know, like any idea. We try to be open, you know.
And give them some leadership and what
Right.
happens in their group.
Right.
Excuse me.
So the group is going, you know. So I'm very. I talked to I just had a conversation with Kevin, you know, Asano, the silver medalist and Seoul Olympics,
Judo
judo
instructor.
instructor for
And
kids at
medalist.
Hawaii, medalist. And then he's doing, you know, judo, not the judo, but like a little judo exercise, judo size, and
Lessons.
little, you know, with 30 minutes with the kids 6 days a week or 5 days a week, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like 8 to 10 kids
So
participate.
continuing the classes
Right,
that he was teaching.
Right. So it's not judo, but a kind of exercise. So I'm thinking maybe Steve in Alphabet, you know, his partner, I might give a call, and, you know, I wanna, you know, kids to judo kids, you know, wanna.
So, because we had what,
Yeah, we
like
haven't done
10
anything. Yeah,
of
about
the
10.
kids or two
Yeah,
children
children and
participating,
teens.
and he was
Right.
sponsoring them to
Yeah.
participate in classes.
Yeah,
and-
by Olympian and specialists. So.
I also heard Tanya had a long conversation with Boys and Girls Clubs, and they have a lot of online programming.
Yeah, they're supposed to. Yeah, right.
So they're going to contact you and try to share information so that we can encourage our children to get involved in their online stuff, and they can encourage grieving and traumatized children in their program to get involved in our online stuff. And, or staff to read, or not read, but watch our Inside Times programs to learn more about grief and trauma. Because some of our first 6 sessions cover in-depth theory and practice of grief and trauma.
Right.
So it's, they can go on and watch it. We're all kind of in watching mode, aren't we?
Right. So group-wise, I wanna give my, it's just a communication, I think everybody's pretty busy,
Well, it's
busy or just
different way of
different.
being busy.
Yeah, because
learning curve.
Yeah,
if you
because I
will.
thought I could talk to a lot of people, but actually not.
Haven't been able to reach everybody.
Yeah.
But I do notice that you call regularly and you're staying in touch.
I can,
and you're emailing. And
email,
initially, we were emailing all the resources
Group
available. Hey, Hero, it's Lehua. Hey, Lehua.
Yeah, but if I know,
Yes, you
their
go.
interest and, but I could have, still learn, learning, this time, but I'm sure I can do better.
I know when they lifted the stay-at-home order and things were really
then
going well.
then we went back to the in-person group. But we did an in-person group only 2 families.
Or one family who had a lot of kids.
One family with a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And then if we have 2 families, and we try to not let them, gather, don't let them share the toys. And then before, when they come to the office, before coming to the building, we did a survey.
Yeah.
Have you been to the outside of Hawaii, or do you have a
Mm-hmm.
fevers, or like symptoms of COVID? So they have to wear masks, and then I get that everybody get temperatures and then hand sanitizer before and after, and then when they have a fevers and stuff, then we have to ask them to go home. It never happened.
Right. Well,
And then before and then after the group, we just clean up, we decided to not use the volcano room, toy room. So we brought foosball table downstairs. I bought a different, toy, easy
we had to use our big room
downstairs. That's why we closed at the high rising,
and closed
because
the upstairs.
they can open the door, then air circulates,
fresh air. It's bigger.
Yeah.
Social distancing, physical
easy to
space.
keep the distance.
But then we went back into stay-at-home.
Then
order.
2 weeks we got
Here we are.
another stay-at-home order. So
Now it's going into 4 weeks because 2 more weeks from tomorrow.
Right.
Because today would be the last day of the 2 weeks, and then 2 more weeks from tomorrow.
Right. So then, well, but some children, who want to be there, just
Just waiting
right.
until we can be in person.
Right.
We don't know when that'll be.
Right.
But in the meantime, we're doing everything. I know you've gone to visit people at their homes, and you don't go in their homes.
Right.
You do jump rope outside, or you actually mailed out Coldwood craft activities to a bunch of families, and children could do some craft activities with Coldwood.
I did a bees, made bees making.
Beads making. You actually invited families when we were able to gather a little bit, then,
So now I want to do ukuleles and, maybe, I don't know, maybe I can do a jump rope class, actually. instead of like doing, you know, because that time now they have they have a school, right,
During the day.
during the day. So
Uh-huh.
if I have a time and certain time, I can do with the children. We do jump rope together, kind of things. You know, I'm thinking ukulele. So always there's something
Yeah,
you can
something
yeah
that
do.
you've been very creative and trying to
Right.
figure out what you could teach online, and you even bought jump ropes for kids,
Right.
and we provided jump
Right.
ropes, and because they need some physical activity, they need to
Right.
be outdoors a little more.
I've been surfing with kids.
And you're taking some
I
kids
mean,
out
not
surfing.
older kids,
Older,
and if
well,
the
I don't
family
know
member
how
can
old is old.
come,
7 and up.
stay because one-on-one is kind of, because the teens can usually paddle out, and so I take them out, meet at the beach,
Mm-hmm.
I mean the parking, and it's pretty much always playing.
Yeah.
Or like if
Yeah.
you then go
Yeah.
out and we just surf together,
Yeah.
keep distance, and they just have
Yeah.
fun. But if a beginners, kind of hard because you need a two-person. One person can push, one person can
noisy
stay inside,
helicopter.
receive. So
Sorry.
I'll only do early in the morning, because daytime is just so many people.
Too
that,
crowded.
Yeah.
Not safe.
Yeah, actually.
So, all right, getting back to the online groups.
Right.
So,
Right.
any more pros that you can think of? Miss you too. Yeah. Any other pros you can think about the online groups?
Positive things. Oh, I'm fun. Kick out of it every
You're
time.
getting
I
a
just
kick out of
love
it?
to see the kids, and
Yeah.
they're just like
There's a lot of laughter,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah, lots of laughter.
I think something everybody
Right.
needs right now is some
Right.
laughter. So
So much fun, and say things kids say and children share, and it's just a mind blowing, really funny sometimes, and then it is very, sometimes they say very meaningful stuff like
yeah.
yeah, very very I'm very um, enjoy.
So the groups actually still start out the same way, opening
Right.
circle, that say your name and what
Mhm.
your loss is,
Mhm.
right? And then you do closing circle too.
Yep.
And what kind of
Candle
ideas?
lighting.
Candle lighting.
We do candle lighting, and if the parents can come out for birthday time, and then if they and then I invite the dad, other dad, invite dad to just stay with them, and that
Right,
supervise
for safety.
and
That's nice.
So,
What other kind of closing circle activities have y'all done? I mean, with teen groups, I know we've done
like a question,
word of
and,
encouragement. If
Right.
you were to say something, to encourage others, what would it be? But with children, it's
things they want to do, after stay home order. First thing they want to do, or is it their wish, and
okay.
That's
nice. Yeah. So you still have opening circle, then you have free play where y'all play games and different. You have a variety of games that you're all encouraging them to play, or they come up with the idea of let's play this, or you ask them what would y'all like to play, and then they come up with ideas, and then you do that, and then you have your short closing circle that goes fast, huh?
Yeah, it is. 1 hour is just like this. The teens group sometimes goes to hour and 15 minutes, but children's group is about 10 minutes opening circle, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then playtime, in a sense. Draw. Yeah, there's
You go over the rules for
go
opening
over the
circle
rules
time.
quick. Yeah,
And you have to talk about the fact that confidentiality has
Yes.
some new
different.
elements, which
Right.
is like you can't talk about what you see in other people's homes.
Right.
That's also confidential. So any mess you see here is confidential. No,
What mess?
I'm just kidding. All right, so it's a different way of conducting a group, and it's a great resource.
Right.
I mean, not that long ago we wouldn't have had this resource.
Right. But as long as it's numbers small, But as long as there's one child,
We're doing it.
yeah, because it's a group, two facilitators and one child,
Yeah.
3 grieving, you know,
Two people make a group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 people make a group. When we start kids at 2, only one kid, you know,
Yeah.
come like what, 2 months
Yeah.
by himself,
Yeah.
6 facilitators.
With his parent, of course.
Yeah. So
And he
parents
had
group
all
and
of our attention and he
Right.
loved it. So,
right.
yeah. All right, let's talk about some cons. What are some things that don't work very well?
Mute
Don't
mute button.
teach them to use the mute button.
Yeah. No, you have to make it rule.
Uh-huh.
Only person who
You can only mute
you can
yourself.
mute yourself, and then only adult facilitator can mute children, and then you know.
Oh, is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
I was mute.
And I would
Right.
say you were muted.
But yeah, muted many times. I was just trying saying something, and you know, oh, I was muted, so they didn't basically hear nothing.
They probably thought
Only
that
my-
was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
other things.
I guess a con that I've kind of imagined, maybe the online groups, was that, you know, it's something new and different, and so families forget, and you would have to call and say, you know, remember we have group, and he'd do that while group was happening so that they could then log on, and you email the link.
Right.
And so sometimes the link doesn't work, but sometimes they can't find the link.
Or
So you have to
yeah.
kind of do it again. I see, you know, you have to go and email them again. And
sometimes if you're not hotspot, you know, reception is not good. So sometimes I
okay.
cannot hear the person freeze and come out, freeze,
yeah.
you know, back and
Yeah.
forth, and so
So,
that's the things we
yeah.
cannot control.
Yeah, and everybody is using their computers nowadays,
Yeah.
so Wi-Fi can be very slow or internet can be very slow. Yeah. What other cons?
Yeah, sometimes cannot hear that well. That's the same thing. Huh?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. You cannot interact, you know, physically.
Yeah, that's, I think, the hardest part for the children.
Right.
And they can't, you know, be in the volcano room. They love that,
Right.
you know. And I mean, yeah, there are a lot of cons, and just in terms of children would rather be in person and come together and play together, and but since we can't do that, then I'm really looking at cons or some of the challenges, I should say, for doing online groups. And certainly communication is
Right.
one, in terms of making sure they don't forget, or really following up those calls and those emails and reminders. It's very easy for them to forget because they have so much they have to think about now, with school happening at home,
It's
and
a dinner time
working
too.
from home, and
It's
then
a dinner
dinner
time too.
time.
Yeah.
Although Gene sometimes will just eat dinner
No,
right
even
there
kids,
on the group.
kids eating a
Kids too,
pizza. And
so.
yeah.
Yeah, so there, you know, that's, but yeah, that's, we used to, you know, when children came to the center, then dinner, it would be like a potluck dinner, so we would share a meal, and so we had 2 hours, you know, that they were there. They come share a meal for half an hour and then go into their respective groups. And I think another probably con or challenge is that initially we found that you can only do one group at a time. You know, so you can only do children's, or you can only do parents, or you can only do teens. But then you kind of stepped it up and started doing parents and teens at the same time, or
Right.
parents and children. And when you were doing the small groups in person, the parents would go upstairs and sit 6 feet apart and wear their masks, and then I would facilitate remotely. So I would be on the laptop facilitating them, and you would be in person with the children in the bigger room downstairs. So
Right.
that was a pro, I guess, because different way of working. But you know, now I guess like tomorrow we're going to be doing I'll be doing parents from one computer, you'll be doing teens from another, in terms of facilitating them. And so that's something we've improved on in our learning of how to do these things, is doing more than one group at a time. Not everybody has two devices that they can have two separate groups.
Right.
So that might be a con, is just having the capacity to even be online or do online programming. So,
Yep.
Anything else you can think of that has been a challenge or difficult, or?
I think time wise, it's 6. It's just sometimes they have a homework, and sometimes that's a dinner time, and sometimes it's a time for them to take a walk, and so.
Have you thought about changing it to
That time?
a later time?
No, we tried. We tried like 3 to 4 and then 6 to 7, but I think I eliminated like a 3 to 4 o'clock. One
6 to 7 works better. Have you tried 7 to 8 or?
No, then time to go to bed time. 7 to 8. I don't know. I didn't ask. 6 to 7, just.
And I think asking is probably the key there, is that to find out from the families, somebody, find out from the families that you serve, what's going to be the best time for them, when are they going to be available, and then, kind of keep that dialogue going in terms of understanding, is this working for you, is there something else, and then also giving the children a leadership role in deciding on what they actually get to do, which is, again, consistent with our model, our child-directed model, that, children can decide what they want to do. And, of course, when you play a game, it's like everybody has to play that game, so it's not quite as, they're not quite able to go and choose different activities. It have to be that activity, and that might be a con, just in terms of differences from in-person groups to online groups. So, and I know that some people have said that they prefer the online groups right now, even if we don't have a stay-at-home order, that they would rather continue doing online groups until this pandemic is over.
Because there's always risk, for the in-person group.
Right.
Because you don't know, actually,
what people are doing on a daily basis,
that's
who they're seeing and connecting with, and I guess that's the big issue, right now, is we don't know. We don't know what.
But
a lot we don't know.
But I just encourage, Yuki-san, Kaibara, Yuka-san, sorry, and do the group. There gonna be some families, needs, to connect with other children and other parents, other teens, and if you have a platform, I mean, at this time, like online, Google Meet or Zoom or whatever you have in your area.
So we also offer during Insight Times an opportunity for people to ask questions, to share information, or to just participate in this, but we haven't really seen too much
not so much questions.
Not too many questions, and not other than joining us to watch,
say hi,
and say hi. And so if you have any questions as you're listening, please feel free to type it in, and we'll do our best to answer those questions for you. If you think of questions later, you can always email me at training@kidsheard2.org. I can answer your questions through email, or you can email hiro@kidsheard2.org. Hiro@kidsheard2.org.
Yeah.
Did that throw you for a minute?
I saw a Gmail. No, it's not Gmail.
It's not anymore, no.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
anything else you want to cover in terms of So you've done home visits, you've done mailing activities, and then they could watch you online and do the
And
activity
then come
with
to kids
you.
up to Hawaii.
Then they did,
Yeah.
you did smaller groups, in-person groups when we were able to. Of course, that has changed. You did small, activities with families, so beading activities, and we also participated in inviting families with everybody in our building, inviting families from the different programs that serve families in our community to come and get food and supplies and school supplies. And so you all set up a pop-up tent and participated in sharing
we get only
supplies.
small numbers and not surprised. But
Well, I think y'all invited 14 families to come, so that was
right.
So just a variety of things, emailing resources where they could get food, where they could find personal protective equipment, where there's free stuff out there all the time, and sharing that information with our families. I think just asking families, what do you need? We've done some surveys, and that's how we know that some families prefer to stay in online groups versus starting to do some smaller in-person groups, because we did a survey and they were like, no, I want to just do online until this is over, versus I prefer to do only in person until this is over. So we get a lot of. You want to go check on that?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, he's going to go check on some unusual noise outside. We're not sure what it is, and so I take care of my elderly mother who is ill, and so sometimes when we hear noises that we're not sure what they are, we want to check on her because it could be something we weren't expecting. So we're going to probably conclude our show for today. It was nice of you to show up, Lehua and Yuki. Appreciate you all tuning in and finding out about what Kids Hurt 2 is doing these days and how we're managing to continue to provide services in these crazy times. And we want to wish you all the best. Stay safe. Please practice safety for yourself and for others by wearing a mask and by keeping physical distance. And let's all work together to get through this difficult time. It will come to an end. We will come together again, and there will be even more and exciting times ahead, better times ahead. He's hungry. So thank you all for tuning in, and aloha. Anything else, Sarah, you want to say? All right. Aloha.
Bye.
Here it is.